Who would win in a fight, Charlie and Pim from Smiling Friends versus Mordecai and Rigby from Regular Show? Welcome one and all to episode 400 of Cartoon Fight Club, the season 4 finale. And to celebrate, we have a 2-on-2 battle. They're both best friends, they both go on crazy adventures, and they're both a part of insane jobs. Only one pair of friends is coming out on top at the end of this episode. We have an epic battle between Charlie and Pim from Smiling Friends versus Mordecai and Rigby from Regular Show. I'm your host, Animation Rewind, and without further ado, let's introduce Cartoon Fight Club's next round of fighters. Before we talk about Charlie and Pim, I think it'd be fair to talk about what exactly the Smiling Friends do. The Smiling Friends are a group of people recruited by the one and only Mr.Boss. The four main employees consist of Pim, Charlie, Alan, and Glep. The Smiling Friends business is basically a charity that goes around to meet up with different clients who might be feeling a little bit down, maybe even severely depressed, and this team has to try and make them smile. Charlie and Pim are usually the ones who go out and meet the clients, while Alan and Glep and Mr. Boss have their own shenanigans going on in the building. Mr. Boss takes care of his son Jason, Alan keeps everything in check, and Glep, well, I'm not sure what he does. Oh, okay, education class is over, let's start focusing on the main topic of this episode, Pim and Charlie and their abilities. Let's start with Pim first. Pim is a short, pudgy critter with lilac skin and large, dilated eyes. He's your typical happy-go-lucky character who's usually optimistic. You know, your SpongeBob's, Mickey Mouse's, Darwin's. Pim fits that role perfectly well. He's honestly the perfect employee for the Smiling Friends company as he loves helping others, whether it be his family, friends, and especially the clients that he meets on his adventures with Charlie. While Pim's main goal as an employee of Smiling Friends is to make people smile, his many adventures along Charlie have allowed him to demonstrate some amazing feats. Pim has shown to move incredibly fast speeds, far quicker than the average human. He can move so fast that he'll be nowhere 1 minute, and then the next second you blink, he's right next to you. Pim also has far better endurance than his friend Charlie. Not only is he incredibly fast, but he's capable of climbing structures and surfaces incredibly quickly, whereas it would take a normal human quite a bit of time to climb these. Pim also has some pretty good durability on him, as he's capable of scaling to Alan, who survived a massive helicopter crash, which puts both of them at small building level plus. Pim also survived an attack from Mr. Frog, which may not sound impressive, but remember, Mr. Frog pulled at Pim's nerve stem. Pim also has got some solid striking strength on him. While moving in a spaceship that was traveling faster than the speed of light, Pim was able to knock a satellite out of orbit with a bat. This would put the striking feat at small building level. Now, it's likely the speed of the ship also complemented Pim knocking out the satellite, but then you could also argue that Pim's arms would have been torn off, which makes it another durability feat. As far as equipment that he can use in the heat of battle, Pim does have a pellet gun. Sure, it's not a regular gun that shoots bullets, one that shoots tiny plastic pellets, but these can still cause serious damage if not handled with care. Take, for example, the time Pim accidentally shot Alan's eye. Pim is also pretty smart as he can speak multiple languages such as Spanish, and through his many adventures, he's been the cause of many smiles that have been distributed to all his clients. He's also shown to be a pretty solid detective, but Pim is not without his faults. While there's nothing wrong with him being optimistic, this could be a detriment in the heat of battle, leaving him to be quite absent-minded and to let his guard down. He also doesn't have the best eyesight in the world, as he once mistook Alan's bowl of mealworms for cereal.
No.
With Pim out of the way, we can now focus about talking about his friend Charlie. Just like Pim, Charlie's an employee of Smiling Friends and goes on adventures with Pim in order to help people smile. However, unlike Pim, who's usually incredibly optimistic and energetic, Charlie is more neutral and laid back. You could even argue sometimes he's pessimistic. This can be shown from time to time when he seems unwilling to do his job. For example, he seemed to be willing to give up on Desmond after seeing just how low he's gone. However, due to being less optimistic than Pim, Charlie has been in a few more fights than him, which easily makes him the more experienced fighter of the two. He's fought against Alan, who we discussed at small building level. He's even briefly wrestled DJ Spit, who was strong enough to break the window of a helicopter. Charlie can also be considered the stronger of the duo, and we already know how strong Pim is. Remember, Pim can knock out a satellite with a baseball bat moving at FTL speeds. Satellites can weigh roughly between 601 kilograms to over 7,000 kilograms, which equate to small building level strength, and Charlie should be able to surpass this since he's considered the stronger of the two of them. And if this holds true, this also means that Charlie is also stronger than the group partygoers, who could easily rip apart a forest demon, as they did so during their Halloween party. Charlie is also portrayed as the rational one in the show, as he's pretty observant when it comes to his environment and the things around him. For example, he can tell the difference between a real pitchfork and a cardboard pitchfork. He knows a little bit of CPR, and could even tell Satan that he's been stuck in a loop of short-term dopamine. Charlie's also got some solid durability on him. He was able to survive being tortured by Satan for a short period of time, fought against Alan, and even healed quickly from serious injuries. For example, he got his nose completely ripped off by James, his nose was reattached and showed no signs of physical scarring. He was also able to have his eyesight restored after Jason dropped acidic dust all over him, but of course Charlie would prefer not getting hurt at all, which is why he has access to his armor and other various weapons. With his armor, his durability is enhanced and protects him from most attacks, and with his weapons, he has a sword, axe, and shield. Speaking of his shield, this is where we have one of his best speed feats. He was capable of blocking a laser eye attack from Medusa, showing that he has reaction speeds of at least FTL. Though his reaction speed is definitely impressive, his actual travel speed has been shown to be much slower than Pim's, meaning that while he is capable of blocking attacks that move faster than light, he himself can actually run that fast. He runs much slower. Plus, while Charlie is a much more capable fighter than Pim, he would still rather avoid physical contact. On top of that, he also claims to have a heart condition, meaning he's probably not the most physically fit person. With Charlie and Pim out of the way, let's move on to Cartoon Fight Club veterans Mordecai and Rigby, as they were Cartoon Fight Club's second ever victors all the way back in Mordecai and Rigby vs. Finn and Jake Episode 2. Mordecai is a blue jay in his mid-20s and works at the local park as one of its many groundskeepers working under Benson's management. He's a laid-back bird who likes playing video games, drinking soda, singing karaoke, and mostly spending time with his best friend Rigby. Now, if you were to judge him just based on appearance, you wouldn't think he's the strongest guy around, but you'd think wrong. Obviously, he's always winning when he faces Rigby in a game of punchies, and that's not even the start of it. He's been shown to knock a large bear off balance, break open a door with his shoulder, and break a broom in one punch. Mordecai has also been through many different fights in his lifetime, showing that he has some impressive skills. In fact, Mordecai is so skilled, he mastered the art of Death Kwon Do. Death Kwon Do is a martial arts style that requires the user to wear a pair of cut-up jean shorts, comb their hair into a mullet, and then they can perform many unique abilities. Such techniques include the likes of the Death Punch, Death Block, Death Jump, and the Bicycle Kick of Death. Each Death Kwon Do move is extremely lethal and deadly. The Death Punch on multiple occasions has shown to launch their victims far away, but moves such as the Death Block have shown to block such deadly punches, so if you're facing a Death Kwon Do master, you would be in a lot of trouble. Mordecai was also granted the powers to be good at basketball by the god of basketball, which gives him incredible swiftness and accuracy. It's through these basketball powers that we get to see Mordecai's best speed feats. Mordecai jumped from the surface of the earth into the outer atmosphere of space in 4 seconds. This means Mordecai jumped roughly 55,800 miles per hour in 4 seconds, which has been calculated around high hypersonic levels of speed, or to be more specific, Mach 73. Take that, Sonic. Mordecai has seen it all. He's traveled to different countries such as Australia, been to space, been to hell and back, and on a few occasions met death himself. This guy has a ton of experience, but he's definitely not perfect. One of Mordecai's biggest weaknesses is the fact that he struggles to express himself, and communication is key, especially in team fights. He's almost gotten himself and his close friends killed just because he was too embarrassed to talk to things that are important for them to know. Also, in a lot of his battles, he took advice from Skips. If he were on his own and had to make his own decisions, who knows how successful he would actually be if put to the test. Now it's time for Mordecai's best friend Rigby. Just like the Blue Jay, Rigby is a local groundskeeper at the park working under Benson's management, and if you thought Mordecai was a great slacker, Rigby takes slacking to a whole new level. While Mordecai has no problems with slacking off, he's still shown to have more initiative than Rigby does. Rigby is also much more ill-tempered than Mordecai is, and while Mordecai's screw-ups usually come from his lack of ability to talk things out, Rigby's screw-ups are generally just from his laziness. Of course, Rigby is much shorter than Mordecai, and being light has its consequences. He loses pretty much every game of punchies he faces Mordecai in, and even then he once went to the hospital when facing Skips. Rigby's emotions are very reaction-based and can be incredibly impulsive, and gets frightened, confused, and angry easily. So we got all of the negative stuff out of the way. We usually end off negatively, but let's take things different for Rigby. Because while Rigby does have his disadvantages compared to Mordecai, there are still quite a few upsides. Due to his smaller size, Rigby is shown to be the faster of the two, especially when he's running on all fours. And while he is lazy, he's also a little more acrobatic. He has some sharp raccoon claws and teeth, which he can use to attack many different types of villains throughout the regular show universe. For most of the series, Rigby was considered the less intelligent between the two, and while that still may hold true to some extent, Rigby has gone out of the way to better himself as the series went on. actually finishing high school and going to great lengths to better himself for both himself and his girlfriend Eileen. And speaking of Eileen, I'd consider Rigby actually to be more emotionally intelligent between the two, as Rigby actually knew how to express himself to his love interest. Like Mordecai, Rigby also has access to basketball powers and Death Kwon Do. When Rigby first tried these martial arts in order to finally beat Mordecai in a game of punchies, the Death Punch was his go-to move. With it, he sent Skips flying all the way from the park into the city and sent Pops flying into the sun. And considering how important Pops is to the story, Rigby could have doomed the universe if Pop dies. Spoiler warning on that one though. But with Death Kwon Do and his basketball powers, Rigby has access to some incredible strength and speed. While the show likes to portray Rigby as physically weak, he's actually pretty strong, especially when Death Kwon Do is concerned. So yeah, while Rigby did start off as a bit of a man-child, he genuinely improves himself as the series goes on, arguably growing into a more mature character of the two friends. But even after he improved himself, there are still a few hiccups he needed to get over. Truth be told, his biggest weakness is probably the fact that he's a bad gamer, usually button mashing and has no gaming skill, but he'd probably be good at Mario Party, since those games have a bunch of button mashing minigames.
And now, let's get ready for the fight. This battle will take place on Earth, and remember, there is no prep time. Let the battle begin!
Oh, come on, Charlie.
Dude.
You know you guys are losers, right? Oh, yeah, you party, you pull pranks.
What the?
You guys are cool. You're childish. This is gonna be great, Charlie.
Come on, let's do this.
Ready?
Wait.
That actually scared me a little bit.
Oh, cool. What the?
Whoa, what's man? That actually scared me a little bit.
Come on. What the?
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
So cool.
Oh man, this stuff was the best!
Okay, great! Oh my god! Marvelous! I believe in destiny!
Oh yeah!
Epic!
Come on, let's do this.
Okay, great!
Whoa. Dude. Whoa. What the?
Oh my god! Oh yeah, you party, you party.
Wait. So cool.
No, I feel like we're gonna puke, dude.
Awesome! That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Are you really gonna do this? I am begging you, please. Wait. That's insane. What's up, man? Wait.
Come on. What the? Come on. Dude. Come on.
Don't listen to him, he's just showing off. Yeah, that actually scared me a little bit.
Oh man!
You know you guys are losers, right? Oh yeah, you party, you
Whoa.
You guys are... What's up, man?
Whoa!
Hopefully you enjoyed that animation, and if you did, super special thanks to Team Animation Rewind's Gabriel M. I'd also like to thank Great Julius for editing the pre-analysis and post-analysis of the characters, and super special thanks to your boy Mecha for writing that script. Thanks, and enjoy the post-analysis. Well, it looks like Charlie and Pim won't be making anyone smile anytime soon because the winners are Mordecai and Rigby. Now, to be completely fair to Charlie and Pim, they do hold some edges over Mordecai and Rigby, but Mordecai and Rigby hold more effective edges to properly get the job done in a 2-on-2 fight. Starting off his speed, it's a close call, but I would give this edge to Mordecai and Rigby. The best speed feat we've seen from Pim and Charlie is Charlie blocking Medusa's laser eyes, which would put his reaction speed at FTL. Pim is considered to be the faster of the two of them, meaning he would likely scale to this. This is a faster speed feat than Mordecai and Rigby jumping from Earth to space at Mach 73, but remember that FTL speed is reaction, not travel. I would consider the Smiling Friends duo to be faster than an average human, considering Pim has been shown to move at inhuman speeds, but being just a bit faster than the average man isn't going to cut it when your opponents are confirmed to travel at speeds several times faster than that of sound. So while Pim and Charlie's reaction speed would allow them to block and dodge most attacks from Mordecai and Rigby, they ultimately would not be fast enough to catch up to them and land an attack of their own. And Mordecai and Rigby have been shown to dodge lasers too, so reaction speed could actually be neck and neck and thus equalize. While Mordecai and Rigby have a huge travel speed edge that would outclass Charlie and Pim. Moving on to strength, this is an easy contest. Pim's feat of knocking a satellite down out of orbit is impressive, but only at small building level. While Charlie is confirmed to be the stronger of the two, we actually haven't seen Charlie do anything more impressive than that. At best, we know these are small building level feats, but thanks to Death Kwon-Do, Mordecai and Rigby can easily have town level types of striking strength feats. Durability is a little tricky. Mordecai and Rigby were able to survive atomic antimatter rewriting, but they can also be knocked out quite easily by a simple punch. Charlie and Pim can scale to Alan, who was able to survive a large helicopter crash, but you could argue that their durability is more consistent than Mordecai and Rigby's. However, I may disagree with this. If Charlie is able to scale to Alan, who can survive a helicopter crash with a little more than a headache, then why did he die so easily from a small tree falling on top of him? Personally, I'd say both teams have inconsistent durability due to inconsistent toon force. So with that statement, I would personally give the edge to Mordecai and Rigby, since at their best, they can survive being attacked by characters who can warp reality such as anti-pops. Intelligence is one of the only categories where I would say Charlie and Pim have an edge. Both of them have shown to be committed to their jobs and putting smiles on people's faces, while Mordecai and Rigby are known to be slackers. However, fighting experience is an entirely different category than raw intelligence. I would give that one actually to Mordecai and Rigby, as they have been in far more battles, like actual fist fights and such. All in all, Mordecai and Rigby simply outclass Pim and Charlie in all effective categories. And while Charlie and Pim are amazing characters in their own right, in terms of a fight, they're just not gonna beat Mordecai and Rigby, making the winners of this battle the regular show duo. On the 5th season of Cartoon Fight Club.